And ahead of the first anniversary of the late Queen Elizabeth's passing, the royal family have made a defiant demonstration of unity during their annual summer holiday in Balmoral. Yesterday, Prince Andrew was spotted riding shotgun alongside the Prince and Princess of Wales as they arrived at church. This marks a stark change from a similar service at Easter, where the trio did not appear to speak to each other. And royal sources have told The Telegraph safe to say it's a holiday where the entire family has been invited, the entire family are participating, and the entire family are included. Anyone looking for a family divided angle will be sorely disappointed. Well, apart from Harry and Meghan, of course. But what do you think? Is it right for William and Kate to welcome Prince Andrew back into the royal fold? It's a controversial question. Dan at gbnews.com is my email address. You can vote in our poll at gbnews on Twitter. But to debate this now, I'm joined by royal commentator, close friend of Prince Andrew, Lady Victoria Hervey, and the writer, broadcaster, and I call her a member of the Sussex squad, Nina Mishkov. Now, Lady V, you know we've had lots of debates about Prince Andrew. But I have to say, the more I look into the case, the more I think he was the victim of a media stitch-up, really. Well, and so is this a good sign that William and Kate, because it's a big deal, that William and Kate wanted to be seen with him like that in public? As someone who has supported him, do you think this marks the start of him returning into the royal fold? Yeah,
I do think this is a very good sign, especially after, you know, the recent things at Royal Lodge, and this is definitely...
Because they wanted to take his house away.
Yeah, this is
and he's won that
something
battle.
Very positive. But, you know, remember when the Queen died, he was also in the car with Prince William back then. I think at the end of the day, it's all family. It was something that was alleged. It was never proven. It was never happened, basically. And
but William did want him to lose his royal duties, though. So this is why it feels significant to me.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely like a huge deal because, you know, they know that the world is watching. You know, the world is watching their every move and every little thing that they do. It's magnified. And the fact
that... this was a sign. This was a statement
and
from William.
And the Queen was very good at doing that. You know, the Queen...
Well, she had him walk her into that service.
That was a huge thing. And I think at the end of the day, people should have respected the Queen and what she...
Nina Mishkov, didn't we rush to judge Prince Andrew? Because the reason that he settled that case was because he didn't want to overshadow the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
You don't know that. You don't know that. That's supposition on your part.
I know that.
That's supposition on your part. And paying £12 million...
How do you know it's that?
That is what's been the... OK, that's the number. Well, OK, it's not 2 and 6, is it? He may be welcomed back into the royal family, but into the family, not the royal fold. The public will not accept it. You absolutely... You say that he's been stitched up by the media. Out of his own mouth, he stitched himself up.
That interview was a big mistake, Lady.
Yeah, that was Emily Maitlis.
But you admit...
Emily Maitlis stitched him up.
No,
yes, she did.
She did.
Yes, she did.
Listen, 1 second. She went into that interview with an idea of I'm making him look guilty. She's a barrister. The way it was, the lighting, I can make anyone look guilty or not guilty.
The public realised what an idiot he'd been because of the lighting. Victoria, come on.
It was editing. It was everything that they did.
It was there. Look, you cannot possibly defend Prince Andrew in that interview.
Truth, so I'm going to.
We all saw that. He was...
but he didn't perform... Look, the interview was a disaster.
It was a complete...
The interview was a disaster.
Because of him, not because of lighting, because of him, because it's a complete catastrophe. And I don't know why you defend a man...
Because I know they're liars.
Because everybody I've ever read who's actually had to work with him, when he was trade envoy...
Lady V, respond to this. Lady V,
entitled,
Nina,
rude...
Nina, we've got to have two sides. Don't talk over each other. Don't talk over each other. Let me get in here. Lady V, I want to ask not about... Because we have litigated time and again what happened with Virginia Giuffre. What I want to ask you about is Nina talking about his personality, because you know Andrew well. What about these rumours, Lady V, that he's very rude to people, that he can be boorish, that he can treat staff badly? Have you ever seen or experienced that?
I think it's to do with the military. A lot of people have said, yes, he is very abrupt, but he is very factual, to the point.
Did he always treat you well?
Yes, of course.
That's,
you know, I never
with great
saw,
respect,
anything
a friend, a beautiful girl, he's going to treat very differently from staff.
Yeah, but people can only speak as they find, Nina. Do you know him, Nina?
No,
Have you met him?
I've
OK,
no
but Lady
desire to meet
Victoria
him.
does.
I'm saying that your point of view is very valid from a female, beautiful female point of view, but it is nothing to do with him as a trade envoy. When he cocked up various things,
were you there?
No, but there are people you respect.
But there are lots of stories about this lady.
The High Commissioner of Trade for Bahrain, they called him HBH, His Buffoon Highness, because he was absolutely idiot. They said it. They tried to analyse and say it came from a sort of
what did he do,
inferiority. He would shout at people. He would go against the brief. He would demand things when he was travelling around the world.
Lady Victoria, can you respond? Can you respond? Can you talk about your personal experience with him? Because I think that's important. Is he polite? Is he a gentleman? Is he a good family man? Because obviously his daughters adore him.
I've always thought he was polite and, you know, very well-mannered. Even my mother said that one time because she sat at a lunch and she, you know, she doesn't follow any of this stuff, but she thought he was extremely polite, very gentlemanly. I haven't experienced what you were saying.
With respect, sitting next to somebody at a lunch, a social, pleasant engagement.
But Lady Victoria knows him better.
So very different from working for him.
No, and I
the
get
demands he made, the boorishness of his, you know, throwing things on the floor, making his security.
I think he actually has some kind of not an ADD, but there's something that the way
when ADHD
when he comes across. It's very matter-of-fact, and some people say he suddenly gets very angry.
And Lady V, could that be...
And I think it's
Lady V, could that be because of the experience fighting in the Falklands War, for example? Because a lot of soldiers who do come back from the battlefield have a degree of PTSD. And he was a war hero.
With respect, we're talking decades ago. And this is not the same... This is not the same man who throws tantrums because his teddy bears and his cuddly toys are not arranged on his bed in the correct way.
Lady Victoria Hervey, brilliant debate. Now, look, both sides of the story here on GB News. And you'll remember that Virginia Giuffre accused Prince Andrew of sexually assaulting her when she was a teenager. Her lawsuit stated 20 years ago Prince Andrew's wealth, power, position and connections enabled him to abuse a frightened, vulnerable child with no one there to protect her. It is long past the time for him to be held to account. Now, who do you agree with on this? Is it right for William and Kate to welcome Prince Andrew back into the royal fold? Kate on Twitter says it was a family event, not a public state event. He has every right to go to a private family event. Mark writes, they may choose to reconnect with Andrew in private, which is their own business, but they certainly should not welcome him back into the royal fold. And from Brittany, this is a tough one, as Andrew is family. He is not a friend or associate of the royals. It is difficult to distance yourself from actual family members, especially at formal events such as this. And your verdict is now in. A split decision. 42% say William and Kate were right to bring Prince Andrew back. 58% of you agreeing with Nina Mishkov saying that they were wrong to do so.